I thought he did a good job. You know, he understands what he's supposed to do. He prepared. You know, guy been in here a couple of weeks, and he's a professional. To me, I think, you know, when you don't think you're going to play, but he preparing like he was. Next thing you know, he gets out there, he makes his plays. He does what he's supposed to do.
Is there, so now that the time you've had to work with him, is there a style to his game that you could describe from what he did in Chicago?
Well, you know, he's more of a calm guy. He doesn't talk a lot in the meetings. He doesn't, you know, he's not a big rah-rah guy. He's not flashy. But when he gets out on the football field, he just does his job. You know, when you look and you're like, well, what is he good at? You know, you don't, well, he's not a burner. He's not this. But, excuse me, he's a long guy. He understands what he's supposed to do. He's smart enough to understand, hey, look, I got to get help here. I want to come in early. You know, he's not a young guy, so that's the good thing. He knows who he is, and he goes and plays to his style.
Jerry, obviously you guys had decided going into the game you were going to start with Isaac, but were you just, was it, we're going to see how this goes and maybe make it necessary, or what went into that?
Well, to me, I think, you know, Isaac had been here. You know, he had been here, I thought he had earned his spot. You know, the same thing I told you guys back when I in the off season, hey, young guys earn their way through special teams. I thought he had done an excellent job on special teams. He had been doing a great job there. So if you can do it on special teams, you should be able to do it, you know, when you get into the game. And what I seen is I seen a, you know, a younger guy, you know, kind of hyped a little bit. And when I seen the DPI, I thought, okay, let me take a look at that. And that play there, excuse me, kind of like, okay, what are we doing? Oh, thank you. You know, it's like, what are we actually doing? You know, because if I see that, I'm thinking like, okay, I don't see that calm guy I see on special teams. I seen a guy that all of a sudden get into the game and then something happens. So I was like, let me calm him down and I'll put Rasul in and see what actually happens there. And I thought he had done a really good job. So I'm like, okay, I'll just leave him in and see if I see that same thing that come out of that I seen in Ike that's seen in him, and I didn't see that.
Jerry, looks like Darnell is on his way back, but how did you feel Henry did when he had to fill in for him, Darnell?
Well, I thought Henry did a really good job. You know, he had to go in, and he hadn't been playing a bunch of safety. He had been playing some dime for us. Thought he did a good job of coming in and doing what he's supposed to do. And then next thing you know, my mentality is Matt, you know, he puts it in there as next man up, and that's really what we're doing. We got some young guys that are understanding what their roles are, and they know that, hey, look, I may not be the starter, but there may be one play that puts me into that starting role. And I thought Henry came in, thought he made about 5 or 6 tackles, did a really good job in the passing game and in the run game.
I thought Henry Black looked really physical when he first got in on some special teams. And is that part of his repertoire too? He can break down and take out guys, right?
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the young guy. I always talk to him about roles. What is your role on this team? Are you carving out a niche? You know, again, I know Mo. I'm a defensive back guy, and I'm conscious that most of the DBs that are up, you're going to be on special teams. So I look at the special teams film. What are you doing there that's going to let me know what you're going to do on defense? And all of a sudden, you got Henry making plays. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And, you know, again, Darnell went down. Henry, you got to go in, okay? We're not going to expect anything less from you. We're going to expect the same thing that Darnell gives us. And all of a sudden, he went out there and he did his job.
Jerry, I realize it's the red zone isn't just you guys, it's all 11 guys. Just from your guys' perspective, though, what needs to get better?
Well, to me, I think, you know, just talking to the guys, one of the things that we got to do is we got to stop giving them extra plays. You know, when you get we did a study about 5 or 6 years ago. When you get a third down stop in the red zone, that's number one, taking away 4 points. But when you get a penalty in the red zone, you get them an extra 4 plays. And I looked at us like we've had 6 penalties in the red zone. So just think about that. You got another 24 extra plays that you got to go defend, and they're going to get a touchdown most of the time. It equates to touchdowns if you get penalties in the red zone. So one thing we got to do is I think we got to be in better position, especially as defensive backs. You know, we can't, you know, down there everything happens so fast. And when you're young, you tend to want to grab a guy or you want to be in position. And then, you know, again, I don't think every play was a penalty, but you know what, they called it, so we have to live with it. But at the end of the day, you can't give penalties. And I think maybe 4 of the 6 penalties were on third down. So just think about that. You've given them 4 more downs and you off the field. You should be off the field. So that's really what we got to do. We got to really make a big emphasis of that. And I think we started today. You know, guys are meeting after practice. Let's go to the red zone today, and then we actually hit it again tomorrow. So it's not a surprise to them.